What's up? Let's be honest, the Jurassic Park franchise is not very good. The original is a masterpiece of filmmaking. Setting aside the groundbreaking and revolutionary dinosaur visual effects, the film has an amazing cast of characters that are relatable, realistic, and interesting. It's got an engaging storyline and dialogue about the morals of bringing back dinosaurs and therefore thinking that we can control them. It's suspenseful, it creates a sense of wonder, it's exciting, it's just an out-and-out, wonderfully amazing film. But we have 4 Jurassic Park sequels now. 4, and not one of them have come even close to measuring up to the original. And I'm not expecting them to be that good, but I'd like to watch one Jurassic Park film and be able to say, hey, that was a great movie. The closest thing we've come to, in my opinion, is Jurassic World. And that one was good, but it's got too many problems that really keep it from progressing to great. And I really think part of the problem is just that it's really hard to make dinosaur films. And I don't mean like I've done some research into what goes into making dinosaur films. I just mean I have thought about it and I've seen a lot of dinosaur films, and the only one besides Jurassic Park that I would say is a great movie is The Land Before Time. That one has a couple dozen sequels that also do not measure up to the original, so it's fitting. But yeah, I've seen a lot of dinosaur films and they're really pretty underwhelming. There are some that I enjoy for sure, but yeah, just none that are really that great. And while I would say, you know, I think that's an interesting discussion to have, for now I just want to talk about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's been 3 years since the events of the first film, and the dinosaurs are now roaming Island Nublar freely. But a volcano is erupting and it threatens to kill all the dinosaurs on the island. So Bryce Dallas Howard is brought in by Rafe Spall because he needs her in order to track down and bring the dinosaurs to another island where they can roam freely over there. But she needs Chris Pratt's help in order to track down Blue because she is one of a kind. Well, they get to the island and they find out, whoa, it was all a trick. And Rafe Spall actually wants to collect the dinosaurs so he can sell them on the black market and make lots and lots of some money. Except for Blue, because he needs her for another project they're working on, Indominus Rex 2.0, aka the Indoraptor. I honestly don't know how I feel about this movie. On the one hand, I did find it entertaining. I got a lot of enjoyment out of this movie, but on the other hand, this was not well written. Let's start with the characters. Every character in this movie is a cartoon. Even Chris Pratt, and he's one of the best things about this movie. And I think in all his movies, basically Chris Pratt is given carte blanche to play Chris Pratt. Which is fine, he's still a lot of fun to watch. But even Bryce Dallas Howard, who I liked her in the first one, and I've liked her in other movies, in this, she was just way too animated. And I don't know if I should blame that on Trevorrow or Bayona. And there are 2 new characters, 2 new good guys introduced. One is a tech-savvy neurotic named Franklin, who early on becomes the comic relief of the movie. You don't need comic reliefs for these movies. You just don't. And the other character is this badass chick named Zia, who is a paleo-veterinarian who's never even seen a dinosaur in her life. So I'm not quite sure how that's supposed to work, but you know, the only thing she does in the movie is she treats Blue when Blue gets shot. So I guess it's a good thing Blue got shot, otherwise she would have no point being in this movie. The villains are no better. And I'm sorry, Trevorrow does not seem to know how to write villains. I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but I saw the first Jurassic World and I cannot forget Vincent D'Onofrio's villain from that. His 1920s cartoon era villain. But at least that was so bad that it was entertaining. He was fun to watch. I can't say that about the villains in this movie. You have Buffalo Bill actor Ted Levine playing the most cliched, stock, evil military henchman who happens to be probably the dumbest character in any of the Jurassic Park series. And then you have Rafe Spall's character, the main villain, who is as one-dimensional as they come. He's doing it for just one reason. Money. That's all. Money, money, money. At least Nedry, Dennis Nedry, had a legitimate grievance against John Hammond for him to seek out wealth from the opposition in agreement to fuck over John Hammond. It made sense, and there was, character development and personality behind that character. You don't get that here. It's just straight up, he's greedy. He's a greedy businessman. And there is no personality. Half the time I didn't even know if Spall was even in the scene, or if he was just sleeping with his eyes open. Even Dr. Wu, B.D. Wong's character, I liked him in the first one, The Lost World. I liked him in Jurassic Park as well, but I liked him in Jurassic World. He delivered one of my favorite lines from the entire franchise. In this, he seemed to devolve into a more typical villainous scientist. Albeit he does maintain part of the same character. He's not doing this because he's evil, he's doing it because it allows him to advance science. Even if he has to get rid of any sense of morality that he used to have. You also have the token child that must be placed in danger, this time a character named Maisie, played by Isabella Sermon, who does a really good job. James Cromwell and Toby Jones are also in it. Toby Jones is basically there just to further the plot along. And James Cromwell, along with Isabella, her character, they're kind of in there, not really to service this plot, but to service a future installment. I'll come back to that in a second. I want to say, though, this film did not really feel like a Jurassic Park movie. And I'm not trying to say that that's a good or a bad thing. It starts out, it's more like a Jurassic Park film in the first half. They're on Isla Nublar, they're trying to rescue the dinosaurs while the volcano's going off. And then it switches gears like that to become basically a haunted house horror flick. On the one hand, it's so far removed from what a Jurassic Park film really feels like to me that it does kind of bother me. But on the other hand, it was interesting, and I do have to give them credit for at least trying something new. Even when it doesn't work out, whenever a filmmaker tries something, that's always a good thing. So I'm kind of neutral towards this particular aspect. I've also read that Trevorrow, what he really wants to do is the next film. That's what he's really interested in. So Fallen Kingdom is really a bridge between the first Lost World and the next film. And it really feels that way. In particular, when you look at James Cromwell's character and Isabella Sermon's character, Maisie, there's a particular aspect to her character that's introduced, but it's not explored very much in this film. It seems like they introduced it now, but they're kind of shoving it aside, and they're going to do something else with it later down the road. Maybe. We don't even know. That's part of the problem. That's why I think they should have explored it a bit more in this film. All that aside, like I said, this was a very entertaining movie. I can honestly say throughout the film, I was never bored. The dinosaur effects were really well done. I was enjoying all the interactions between the humans and the dinosaurs, even when they didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like the scene with the baryonyx, when he's going through the tunnel, and you have Bryce Dallas Howard and Franklin trapped in a building with lava pouring through the ceiling. That whole scene could have been cut from the movie and wouldn't have made a bit of difference. But at least it was entertaining. Likewise, the scene with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard when they go into the cage with the T-Rex and it wakes up and Chris Pratt has to roll between the T-Rex's jaws. Again, very exciting scene, although the reasoning for being there is highly questionable. And like I said, it turns into a horror film, and I think they did a really good job of making the Indoraptor, which is basically a Frankenstein-esque monster dinosaur, appear frightening and threatening. There's also the message of the movie. Every Jurassic Park film has had some kind of message relating to mankind's interference with nature and the creation of these animals. And with the exception of the first one, I think this one probably did it best. It's asking the question whether or not we should save these animals or let them die and become extinct again. On the one hand, the film spends a lot of time kind of playing on people's emotions, showing the characters up close with the animals and showing us situations with the dinosaurs, and it's trying to evoke an emotional response from the audience so that they don't want them to die, so they don't want them to go extinct. But at the same time, on the other hand, it's presenting, like Ian Malcolm, he's speaking to, I want to say Congress. You have Ian Malcolm presenting this very well thought out and reasoned argument about the fact that, these creatures aren't natural, and we've seen what happens in the past 4 movies, that they're dangerous and we can't control them and we shouldn't try. And for that matter, we should just let nature take its course. And there's a scene at the end that I really like, where one character has to make a choice, and it plays on the emotions of the characters, but at the same time doesn't ignore what the consequences would be as they follow through with that choice. And so I really like the way they handled that. That's why I say I think it was really well done. I don't want to go into too much details without giving away spoilers, even though I'm pretty sure anyone who's probably watching this has probably already seen the movie. Nevertheless, I won't go into that. I just think they really handled the message well. One last thing, I do want to talk about the score by Michael Giacchino. Giacchino? I'm not sure. I love Michael Giacchino. I think he's a great composer. He's done some great scores. This was way overdone. The choices that he made, there are operatic sections in this movie that just do not belong in a Jurassic Park film. Again, love him as a composer, did not think the score fit the film. So yeah, overall, they don't have very interesting characters. It's not well written. There are a lot of plot points and choices made by the characters that don't make any sense. But also, like I said, Chris Pratt is terrific in the film. The dinosaur effects are great. And again, there are just some really great action sequences and really great scenes with the dinosaurs that I loved watching. And it kind of does make me want to go see it again. Some of the camera work in this film is terrific. There are a couple of long single camera shots during some intense sequences, like the gyrosphere when it falls in the ocean, it's filling up with water, and Franklin and Bryce Dallas Howard are trapped, and Chris Pratt's trying to get it open, and dinosaurs falling in the ocean. It's a great shot. It's really well done. And it's very creative, too. See, I really don't know how I feel, or I really don't know how to judge this movie, how to rank this movie, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Go see it if you want to. Enjoy. But for now, I'm just going to say that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.